Welcome back, folks. In the Transcend workshop, we're now going to look at a very powerful, practical exercise, right space meditation. Now, there are many meditation techniques and processes you can do. All of them have a benefit and will serve a purpose. But this one, right space, is rather different because it has 3 phases and 7 aspects. And here's how it looks like. So the 3 phases. The first one is stillness and presence. And the first one, stillness and presence, is just sitting in stillness, silence and solitude and getting into the presence of where you are. That's all it is. And how it works is this. Each of these acronyms means something. So the 3 phases, the first phase is stillness and presence, and then the second phase is the 7 aspects. And then the third phase is when you do the spirit work. And in this third phase, in the spirit work, it's about channeling, journaling, healing, distance healing, whatever. Insight into issues in your life, etc. So that's the 3 phases. And what you should do is divide your time equally into a third each. So if you have an hour to spare, you spend 20 minutes in stillness, 20 minutes with the 7 aspects, 20 minutes in spirit work, as a rule of thumb. It's probably not recommended to, if you really want to be fast, 30 minutes. However, that's really too short to get deep into this. To get into decent depth in this, an hour's good. But in the interest of time, we might do 45 minutes, this afternoon, because we've got other things to cover. And with right space meditation, rule of thumb I recommend is an hour. And then once a month, go and do a 3-hour, whereby each of these phases you spend 1 hour in. And then if you really want to go incredibly deep into this, you do it over 3 days, which is more difficult to achieve. However, if you were to dedicate 3 days into this, it'll be the most extraordinary spiritual experience of your life. But it'll require you to go 3 days out somewhere and go camp away from people, where you do not talk or have any interaction with anybody. You fast over the period in time, and you just be completely still out in nature. I've done this before a few times in my life, and the 3 day solo meditation are nothing short of awesome experiences. And the way it works is this. The first day, or the first part, you just tune into what's going on. You become part of the environment. You lose yourself to what's there in the first day. The second day, you then go through the 7 aspects. And when you go through the 7 aspects, that connects you, mind, body, spirit, everything else, and you go deep into the area. And when I explain the 7 aspects, you will understand the power of this in the second day. Then the third day is when the magic happens. You can have a conversation with Source, God, Universe, the Creator, all that is. And you can have a conversation the entire day in the spirit, because you're in that zone. And so, when you get into practice for this, the more you do it, the deeper you will go subsequently. However, if you want to get a real immersion dive in it, try it for 3 hours or entire day. So if you try it for an entire day, allow 6 hours and 2 hours each of these. So the first phase is stillness and presence. And when you unpack right space, it looks like this. You first start with the word space. So stillness and presence become the first phase. Then the next the next 3 and down right become the 7 aspects. So how it works is this. So when you look at the word space, the first 2, stillness and presence, is the phase 1. And phase 2 is the 7 aspects. So there's 3 aspects here. So the first aspect, which I'll number here, the first aspect is acceptance. Now acceptance is when you take time and you go through all the things in your life that you don't like. The things that you like, you accept. The things that you don't like, you don't accept. No, I don't like this in my life. Don't like you in my life. Don't like this happening to me in my life. So, whatever you don't like happening in your life, you go through the process of acceptance. So you give attention to something. I don't like my work. I don't like my boss. And then you go through the process of, okay, let me stand back and look at my work, why I don't like it, and see the gift in it. And then come to a level of, I now accept my work, I now accept my boss, I now accept my spouse, the way my spouse irritates me. So you go through this acceptance. It takes quite a bit to go and do that. Now, there will be some things in which you cannot accept at that point in time. If there are some things that you cannot accept at that point in time, okay, just let it go. Over time, when you do more of this, you get to accept everything in your life. However, it's good to go through this exercise. So you spend some time doing this. And you go through and you visualize it, you look at it, you tune into your feelings, and then you do a shift from resistance to acceptance. Connection. Connection is about connecting the 5 parts of you. And the 5 parts of you are lower mind, higher mind, body, soul, spirit. And so how this connection works is, you first give your attention to your lower mind. And you visualize your lower mind, you know, your brain in your head, everything else. Then you visualize your higher mind, which is your consciousness, your mind, away from your head. Then you do an exercise of visualizing your higher mind and your lower mind being your whole mind, rather than 2 separate. And then you visualize the 2 connection. Then once you've got your whole mind visualized and connected, then you connect that to your body. So then you visualize your mind, your whole mind, coming over, filling your entire body energetically. And then you say, wow, it's great having mind and body fully connected. Then you tune into your soul, which is here. And you energize your heart, and then from here you just fill everything up. So then you've got whole mind, body, soul connected. Then your spirit, which is this mist and cloud away from you, which is your spirit, which doesn't have any limitations or form, come all over everything, enveloped like a cloud and cocoon over you. So you do this exercise and it connects all these separate parts of you, and then you just energize that integration and connection together. And that is this. Then here is empathy, which is the E. And empathy is simply this whole self of you, whole integrated self, where all the 5 parts are together. From above you, you just simply pour love from above, your whole integrated self, into you. So you just pour love into the little boy, the little girl inside here. So you love yourself. And you spend plenty of time pouring love into yourself. Very powerful exercise when you do that. Then after you do that, you come into this. The word right. So the 4th aspect is right brain. Right brain is when you invoke your right brain to be active and you park your left brain. And it's very simple, it's just a visualization and invocation. whereby you just say, left brain, I now park you for the duration of this entire meditation period. You can now rest and not operate and function. Right brain, I command you completely take over and take charge of everything that happens from here onwards during this whole meditation period. So that's all you do here. Now the fifth aspect is called insight. And insight is when you take 1, 3, 5, probably not more than that, of the big issues in your life that you don't have any solution to, that cause you consternation, etc. One example is, my income is insufficient. Or, how do I get out of the work that I don't like, etc. Or, this relationship is a problem. Or, one of my children is doing X, which is worrying me. Whatever. So insight is an issue or problem that you want to look at from a whole different perspective. So when you are in this state and you're up here and you're holding it itself and you just look down on a particular issue or problem, it's profound when you can see. So you spend time looking from spirit's eyes into an issue in your life down here. You may at this point in time like to journal some of the things that come up. But you can pick one and spend time just looking at it in that space. So sixth aspect is gratitude. Whereby then you take a global look at everything in your life, one by one, you just go through the process of expressing gratitude for people, your home, your health, the relationships, the things that you're doing, what you're blessed with, weather, etc. That's gratitude. So, that's number 6. And spend a good time doing this. And then number 7 is heart space. Heart space is when all of a sudden you just feel everything with love from inside. And create this wonderful, warm heart space of love and light. So that's what you do. Just energize everything inside you, around you, with love. And that's your heart space from here. And then, once you finish all that, you go into the third phase, which is this one, the T. Which is timelessness. So you then hop into the zone of no time. And this is where, energetically then, when you've done all this, you have separated yourself from the outside world, you've parked your conscious mind, you've gone through the 7 aspects to be able to take you to this place where you are empty, you are energized, you are prepared, you are sanctified to the point of being able to commune with God and Spirit. And in this place, allow whatever is meant to happen to happen. You may here set an intention, I wish to send some distant healings to so-and-so. Well, when you're in this space, that's what you do. You may just be open to journal. All good. You may want to put meditation and prayer energy into a particular spiritual work. Great. So it's completely open what goes in here. But when you go and do all this, this is amazing, profound in terms of what comes. So this is the right space meditation process. It has 3 phases, 7 aspects. You allow 1/3 of the time for each one. And this is not something you can rush. If you're short of time, don't do this. If you're short of time, do the Sylvia meditation one. The Sylvia meditation one on the disc.
Oh, okay.
It's a Sylvia meditation audio, recorded by CN, and it's in the meditation folder. So if you're short of time, do that one. So there's many different things you can do in terms of meditation. Music helps meditation. So there's lots of meditative music you can have. that was stillness. So this again turned up in one of the sessions.
So this should be done once a day, or once a week, or...
If you're able to do it once a day, fantastic. If you're able to do it once a week, better than nothing. If you're able to do it 2-3 times a week, great. It's not easy to do this once a day, to give this the due attention. So to do this once a day, you have to be very, very focused and disciplined to do this once a day. I don't get to do this once a day. You know, I do this weekly, and it varies how often I get to it in terms of my schedule. And that works for me. So you've got to find what works for you. And basically, things like this. If you do it once a month, you get one benefit a month. If you do it once a week, you get one benefit a week. If you do it once a day, you get the benefit every day. So the rule of thumb is, do something and do as much as you can fit in, and then increase the frequency over time. If your schedule's really busy, just aim for once a week and do that for a couple of months. Then after you've done it once a week for a couple of months, month 3, increase it to twice a week. And so you move like that. So that's how you institute change. That's manageable. No point, trying to change by dumping a whole lot on your schedule, and then you find yourself in overload, and then nothing will work. So slow and steady is the prescription. Any questions? And to do this, you need to find a place. So if you don't have a place where you can sit, which is your sacred space, find one. And it's good to actually have 2 sacred spaces. One at home and one somewhere else. And the one somewhere else is outside home, in a park or somewhere that's not busy, that you can go to and spend a few hours and not be disturbed. That's good. But have a place at home that's quiet, away from distractions, where you can go and sit and do this. That's great. So, are there any questions?
Can I just recap? Your stillness and presence, that's 1/3. Is that how you're looking
Stillness and presence is a third.
Then all the 7
aspects is a
1/3.
third.
Yeah.
The spirit work is another 1/3.
Okay.
In terms of the time you allocate. I recommend a minimum 1 hour. And, half an hour, you can do 10 minutes on each, but then that's really cutting it thin in terms of quality.
How do you know the 20 minutes is up?
How do you know the 20 minutes
Yeah.
up? You can
Or like if you're doing, an hour.
Well, you can put you can put a timer on your watch
Okay.
or timer on your phone to just ding for the 20 minutes. That's how you do that. So you can, instead of a loud ring, you can just get it to just ding once, and then that's the 20 minutes, so you can tell that way. Or or the other way is you just tell your higher self to prompt you when the 20-minute mark happens, and you will come out of it automatically at 20 minutes.
I'm just sitting here thinking, I went to see someone down the coast and Robin was with me, but he couldn't come in, so he went for a walk in the park. And from the previous discussions we'd had, it was a 45-minute walk that he had to do in the park, and he was walking with his eyes closed, just around the park. Eyes closed, and no shoes on. And when he told me this, of course, he's getting back to nature and doing what he should be doing, and I said, no shoes on in the park with your eyes closed. He said yes, he opened them up just at the right time because he was about to step into dog poo. And he walked for 45 minutes. He had no idea of time or anything. It wasn't until he got back to the car he realised it was 45 minutes he walked for. And it was just faith.
That happens.
Yeah, and opened his eyes at the right time. And I was just pleased there was no needles or anything lying around too.
So it's amazing what can happen when you run with the eyes of the spirit and you don't need your physical eyes. So we'll pause there and then we'll do a practical exercise on it.
Good.